The knowledge you need to be a showrunner in America, I would argue, is indispensable to anybody who wants to be a successful writer in television. You need to understand how the sandwich is made. And the more you understand like how the product is made outside of writing, how your writing will be taken, how it will be transformed, how it will be filmed, how it will be edited, how it will be marketed, those kind of things are actually incredibly helpful bits of knowledge for you, if you want to forge your career in this industry.
I agree, especially at an intermediate stage, if you're being asked to rewrite for production reasons, if you understand what production is telling you and understand why this scene or the sequence can't be done the way it's written, you try to find a way around it, a way through it. Based on your knowledge of what can be done.
Yeah.
And if you, as you gain that knowledge incrementally and demonstrate your ability, perhaps you are given more authority. And as you say, it's invaluable for writing, I think, a more intelligent, informed script, and especially then being able to interpret comments that you get or needs to change things.
And also, nobody ever got fired for coming up with a suggestion to make something more cheaply.
Yeah, yes. And in fact, I mean, I find that aspect in a weekly episodic basis. I call that horse trading. When you turn in the script, you get the call back from the line producer, say, love your latest script, it's 1 day and 400,000 over your pattern. Okay, so where are we over? Why are we over? How can we get it down? And a good line producer will work with you to suggest, because you'll find things you say, you've got all these scenes at a high school. I said, I know, I put them all at high school so you could shoot it all in 1 day. I said, yes, but you've got just one too many scenes so that we actually have to go back to the high school the next day.
It's understanding that, isn't it? So it's a holistic view of the writing trade and like where it fits into something much larger, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think from talking to writers that have worked in the UK, writers are often dismissed by the producer level as saying, you go back to the sandbox and you write, because this is for the adults now. We'll take care of this stage, of the fun bit, of producing. And that's an attitude that has to be contended with. But beyond the attitude, the only way to get past it is to say, actually, I do understand what goes into this, and I want to know more about how to do this so that I can participate in that. And actually, because I'm the one who has the original idea and know what's intended, I can help you as we mount this production, because you don't know what's significant to a story or not. You may insist on shooting something. I said, well, if you told me that you're spending all this money, I was just talking to Emma Frost about a situation where in one of her first shows, there was a sequence where they had to go to the tomb of a character, and she found out that they were planning to build this tomb and it would cost £10,000. She said, whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't really need the tomb. We just need something to indicate this is where the man is buried. Is there a cheaper way to do that? And she helped them find a much cheaper way to do that. And that's just one isolated example of how a writer can say, no, I can save you money because I know what's important. And and so you tell me what's expensive, and I can tell you what's actually worth fighting for and what we can change.
Yeah, absolutely. And you pull all that knowledge together, you end up with something that makes your writing look better.
Right.
In the end.
And I think for most people who would take a course like this, the minimal hope is to get as you say, a dimensional understanding of what goes into being a writer-producer. The maximum that a person could take away would be to say, okay, now I can go run my own show. But I don't think that's physically possible in most of the systems that exist outside of the United States. So for the great mass, I think the people that look at something like this, the value is in the middle. You're going to be exposed to a lot of tools, terms, tips that you can then put in your toolbox and pull out as you need, depending on the situation. And I also hope that one of the goals would be to demystify a lot of what goes into becoming a writer-producer. A lot of people get intimidated by the idea of taking on the responsibility, and it is intimidating. And don't get me wrong, it's a scary thing to go from being a writer who yesterday was sitting in Starbucks with a grande latte and a laptop and now is in charge of a $50 million corporation. But you take it step by step, and when you begin to, budget's a good example. People get terrified by the idea of a budget. But if you can balance a checkbook and you've been able to keep yourself solvent, then you've probably got enough savvy to get through what it takes to understand budget in our business. You just have to have somebody demystify it for you.